And here's a live look from a PennDOT traffic cam along 581 where roughly 6 dozen vehicles were involved in this massive crash around 2 this afternoon in the eastbound lanes of 581 between Route 11 and I-83. Good evening, I'm Mark Hall. Janelle Knight has the night off. Well, thank you for joining us, and we have live team coverage of this crash and the winter storm that we're all dealing with tonight. Sonica Barlow is near the accident scene. Seth Kaplan is where people involved in that crash are trying to stay warm. But let's begin with meteorologist Dan Tomaso. Dan, is this really winter's last gasp?
Well, we certainly hope so, Mark. We have warmer weather on the horizon, but just not in time for tonight. I want to step back to the time of when this incident took place along 581. And again, this was the radar just around 2 o'clock this afternoon. And what you're seeing here, this area of light blue or purple that's showing up on radar, that is an intense snow band. Now, again, as these generally pass through, they last 5 or 10 minutes, but you add a little bit of wind in there, too, and you end up with whiteout conditions. So zooming in a little bit closer, again, this is where the scene of the pileup is. So as you look, I drew some arrows here to show you the wind direction. So again, imagine blowing snow as you're driving along, and then all of a sudden whiteout conditions on top of that. So again, the intensity of the snow was the issue today. Most of us 3, 4, or 5 inches of snow tops, but this was the wrong place, the wrong time. Again, as you look at this map, there is 581 and then 83 merging along with it, and that was just the wrong spot at the wrong time in terms of that squall moving on by. Now, in terms of the rest of the Doppler radar for this evening and tonight, we do have snow showers still coming in over the mountains. These are much lighter and much more manageable, but it's just showing the wind direction here strong out of the northwest. So there will be additional areas of light snow still north and northwest of Harrisburg over the next couple of hours. For the rest of us, it's pretty quiet, and we really remain that way overnight with temperatures into the teens tomorrow morning. That's right, teens to start out tomorrow. Highs likely only in the low to mid 30s at times. And again, there may be a couple of more snow showers. So again, hour by hour, temperatures will be dropping. There's the teens right now. A lot of us sitting in the 20s, so below freezing. Just watch if you're out driving this evening and overnight. Anything that blows on the roads or any of the leftover slush, that could freeze with temperatures like this. Mark, back to you.
All right, Dan, thank you. We'll see you in a bit. Well, let's go now to Sonica Barlow, who's near the scene of that pileup involving more than 70 vehicles on 581 in Cumberland County. Sonica, what do we know about what's happened there?
Mark, what we know right now is there were 73 total vehicles involved in this crash here on 581 eastbound. And while the scene has cleared significantly, there are still quite a few first responders out here. I've seen Lower Allen Township Fire and EMS, state police, and multiple tow trucks. We heard from someone involved there were whiteout conditions before the crash, and that's really not a surprise given these winds we've been dealing with all afternoon and are still dealing with. We're feeling them out here right now. About a few minutes ago, just as we were coming on air, 581 westbound, those lanes all reopened and they are open now. Eastbound is still closed, and they had the road closed in both directions earlier just to allow those emergency crews to come in and get people out. And as we'll hear from PennDOT later, officials are begging people to still avoid the area, especially going eastbound. State police tell me multiple people are hurt because of this crash, but as of now, they do not believe any of those injuries are life-threatening. Now, buses are taking uninjured people to the New Cumberland Borough Fire Department as a warming location. About an hour ago, we saw the fire department helping people onto a Capital area transit bus about an hour ago. Now, traffic from 581 eastbound is still being diverted to I-83 south, but you can take 581 going westbound. Those lanes are reopened, and we heard that 581 east should still be closed for a few more hours. Live in Cumberland County, Sonica Barlow, ABC 27 News.
Sonica, thank you. We're going to see you in just a bit. Well, you heard Sonica mention that warming center in New Cumberland. That's where Seth Kaplan continues our team coverage. Hey, Seth, what's going on out there?
Hey, Mark, yeah, you heard her mention the warming center. You also heard her mention that Capital area transit bus leaving the scene there. This is where that very same bus rolled in. One of 2 buses we saw here, people getting out. These were the uninjured people who just looked thankful, and then once they got inside, warm. You might be able to see some video if we've been able to get it on in time of those people getting off the bus, shaken but generally happy and meeting their family members here in New Cumberland. And one of the people who came here on one of those buses was Jason Rosnick, who is good enough to be with us right now, braving the cold with us. And this isn't the worst part of your day. Hardly. You headed out, and it just wasn't that bad at first. That's why you went out. That's why other people did.
Yeah, no, looking out this morning, the roads were not that bad. They were a little wet, but manageable. We went under the underpass, and then suddenly there was a whiteout, and I hit the brakes, and I suddenly had zero traction, and I got tapped from behind, lost control, and hit somebody in front of me, and hit the barrier, and then for the next 5 minutes or so, there was just more and more collisions. It was crazy.
Who were you in the car with?
I was with my fiance at the time.
Yeah. Goes without saying, how does this rank in terms of things you've experienced in your life?
One of the scariest things I've ever experienced, easily. I never want to experience it again.
Yeah. And how sudden did that whiteout come about? I've never been in that. We've all seen the signs, whiteout conditions possible.
It came out of nowhere. It was a little bit of snow, and then pretty much right after we went under the underpass, we couldn't see. I could barely see the taillights of the car in front of me, and then lost control.
These reports are hearing that there aren't any serious injuries, let alone fatalities, that we know of as of now. What you were experiencing in the car there, would you have expected to hear that?
No, it's incredible that there was no serious injuries. After everything had calmed down, I got out of my car to make sure that everyone was okay, and just walking up and down the scene, just seeing the condition of the other cars, it's amazing that nobody was seriously injured.
And so in those moments, really hours after, interactions between you and other motorists, I imagine, first, and then with the first responders. Can you tell me about that, about just people's experiences with each other?
We did the best we could to try and lighten the mood. Try to sort of get to know each other, and we figured we'd be there a while. And we weren't wrong.
Well, Jason, I appreciate you taking the time to get to know us here. I'll let you back inside that car, and we'll let Jason do that. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Best to you and your family, and best to everybody who's fortunate enough, like all of us, to be okay after this day that turned out a little bit crazier than we all expected. Live in New Cumberland, Seth Kaplan, ABC 27 News.
Seth, thank you very much. Let's turn now to Fritzy Schreffler, a spokesperson with PennDOT. Fritzy, the storm on 581 really caught everyone by surprise. You heard Jason say moments ago about the whiteout. I mean, talk about that kind of an experience.
Well, our crews have been out all day, actually, since early this morning, treating the roads, and the roads were actually in really good shape, but all of a sudden we got this snowstorm that came through with some really heavy bands, and you add in this blowing snow, the high winds, and those whiteout conditions happen, just like you said, in just a minute.
You talk about, the whiteout conditions. You talked about crews responding. How has the crew response been so far, especially from PennDOT's side?
Well, I think it was a little challenging at first trying to figure out exactly what was happening because we had a smaller number of cars that were initially reported to us and were out on all our routes, but we were able to pull in from Dauphin County and a couple of vehicles from Cumberland County to help shut down the road. And then westbound, we just opened because we were able to get in and plow it and put salt down.
Where are we with, how long is it going to take until maybe the roads are open? I know there's a lot of cleanup efforts still needed, but any time frame that maybe you can estimate?
We are hoping to have the road open by 8 o'clock. Once all the vehicles have been towed away from the scene, we have a large debris field that stretches a couple of miles. We need to clean up after that. We need to then be able to clean up any of the liquids and also salt and treat the road.
And Fritzy, your final message to people maybe watching this about the unpredictability of winter weather.
You know, I often tell people to expect the unexpected, and that's why we encourage you to make sure gas tanks are full and checking tire pressures and windshield wipers, having that emergency kit. This is a prime example of one of those times nobody headed out today thinking that this was going to happen to them.
Fritzy, thank you very much. Fritzy Scheffler, spokesperson for PennDOT. We'll continue to follow this breaking news throughout the newscast as well as online at abc27.com. Be sure to download our ABC 27 News app for updates pushed right to your phone. And of course, we'll see you back here for the very latest tonight on ABC 27 News after NBA basketball. Well,